Alright, so I'm going to be fixing this fan error on this Lenovo ThinkPad T470. Alright, so it sounds like the fan isn't spinning at all. We're going to flip this over. First thing, obviously, take out the battery. So pull these two tabs to the side, and then this battery should slide out. Come on. Come out. Why are you stuck in there? There we go. Okay. There's the battery. I believe this model has 2 batteries in it. Let's see, is there a model number here? So there's this model number right there. It's really tiny, but SB10K97579. Obviously, you can also search for like a T470 battery. Okay, anyways, we're going to be removing the screws from the bottom using a JS1 screwdriver. Okay, so just undo the screws. Also, there's a battery reset button hole here, so you can use a folded out paper clip or a pin to press on that. If for some reason it's not powering up, try pressing that and see if that'll fix it. Alright, anyways, we're going to undo all these screws, and if this video helps you out, please make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. If you can't contribute that way, it'd be greatly appreciated if you could watch a few of my other videos. It'll help you learn something, and it'll also tell the channel, or tell YouTube's algorithm that you like to watch these kinds of videos. Alright, anyways, we're going to go ahead and pull this out. So as you can see, I went with my fingernails and then pushed on the back here, and that popped up. We're going to go around to the front now and continue doing the same. And this one might not be coming out the same way when you work on yours. This one might be popping out because this battery or whatever's under there seems to be bulged out, that it was popping out already. But anyways, see it, as you can see, we're trying to go on this side and it's not wanting to pop out. So let's go ahead and see if we can go from the back here. Okay, so go from there. You can see we can pull that. I'm going to push with my thumb on the hinge area, and I'm going to see if I can slide my fingernails in here. I did cut my fingernails a bit shorter, so it's making this a little tougher. I'm pushing this part down while I'm pulling it out to disengage the clips. Okay, and there we go. Alright, these clips are usually pretty difficult to remove, and the way I kind of remove them is I pull on this because the clips kind of grab in that way. So pull this that direction. Be careful not to pull too hard, you don't want to break that off, but pull that way, and then we should be able to kind of pull it up a little bit. So there we go. Alright, and here we go. Now we got the bottom cover off. A lot of these screws kind of stayed in there, so I'm going to be careful. I don't want to flip this upside down, because if I do, it might drop. And actually, okay, all these screws actually have little washers that hold them in place, so you don't have to worry. Here you can see the fan. It's having a tough time spinning, so I'm going to have to clean all this dust out, and then hopefully that'll get it working. Here you can see the bad battery here. It's inflated. Again, you can search T470 and then just look for this battery. If you need help finding it, let me know. I can check on Amazon and send you an affiliate link. Alright, the battery model number on this one is SB10K97576. Alright, we're going to go over all the little internal components. I'm not really going to be taking anything out because just the fan's issue. But let me go ahead and clean this up, and yeah, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, so we got that all cleaned up. You can see the bottom is also clean. Alright, so we have 2 slots for RAM. Let's see, one slot's not being used here. The other slot, let's pull these 2 tabs to the side, pops up. Okay, come on. There we go, pops up like this. And this is a PC4 2400T stick of RAM. So you should be okay with any PC4 2400T stick of RAM. If you want this one 16 gigs, you can add another 16 gigs for a total of 32 gigs. Alright, let's get this back in. Make sure to push it all the way in at that angle and then click it down. CPU is soldered in place to the motherboard there. Alright, I wasn't sure if I was going to have to remove that. We'll find out. I think the fan actually spins okay now. So most likely this is okay. I am going to have to check if it makes any weird noises, but it does seem like it's okay after cleaning it. So most likely so much dust built up here that it pressed against the edges here, and then the fan couldn't spin. Alright, there's a SATA hard drive looking thing here. I'm not too sure. It looks like it uses an adapter. Let's see, I'll pull this one out and show you guys. So this has this little pull tab here, so you kind of pull it over that direction and then you pull up. So let's see here, pull that way and pull up, and you can see it comes like this. Be careful, there's this cable here, and I'm not going to pull that out, but here you can see, oof, that's dusty as well. Okay, I'm curious underneath this bracket what type of SSD is here. So let's go ahead and undo the screws, because normally there would be a SATA hard drive in this spot, not this type of SSD. So I don't know if this is a little adapter to be a SATA SSD, or if they have an adapter to do a PCIe NVMe, but let's go ahead and pop this off, and it looks like it might actually be an NVMe SSD. It's Lenovo. What is this? There's a part number SSS0L25090. It does say PCIe Gen 3 X4 NVMe. So they did put a PCIe NVMe slot here. So if you did want to replace the SSD, there it is, and it is a PCIe NVMe SSD. If you're not sure how to remove the SSD, there's one screw after removing these two and that bracket, and then it pops up like the RAM. You can pull it out, and then you can push put the new one back in at an angle, then put it down and put the screw just like the RAM. Alright, so anyways, we're going to put this back into place. So this has little feet that go into these little holes here, so swing that side and push that in first, and then we'll get this and push towards the middle inside, and then push that down, and that should click it back into place. If you pull to the left and then pull up and it can lift the whole laptop, then you should be good. Alright, so there's I guess this is called a WAN card, or I don't know what you would call this, but this is for like a mobile network card. They have the little SIM card slot here. Alright, this is the wireless or Wi-Fi card, sometimes also Bluetooth. If you want to remove the antennas, you go from the tail and pull straight up. I do have videos showing that on other laptops, so yeah, keep that in mind. There's all these little connectors, but I can't really see where exactly they're coming from. You do have the battery connector here. So if you need to remove the battery connector, usually what I do is first you'd have to take the battery out, the screws out, because there's no slack here. Then you can kind of grab this wire and kind of wiggle it like this as you pull, and it should come out. If you need to remove the fan, you do need to take the 4 screws for the heatsink out, then the whole piece comes up. And then if it's like other designs, there's going to be tiny screws that use JIS0 screwdriver to remove, and then you can separate the fan from the heatsink. That's usually how it's designed. This is the BIOS CMOS RTC real-time clock battery. If you need to replace this, I do have what do you call an affiliate link with a company that gives you a discount. So if you need that, just let me know. And the battery is a CR1632, and then they have all these other really long part numbers, so I don't know if you'll need that, but the company, if you go to them and you tell them you have a T470, I think they'll know what it is. Alright, there's this docking port that goes through the bottom, obviously. You got the fan connector right here. Sorry for the lack of zooming. There's all these extra slots. This one says JNFC1, so I guess this is for an NFC card reader thing. And this one says JSC1. I'm not sure what that is. Yeah, I'm not sure. There's so many little connectors here. You got this connector here, which has a bunch of random letters and stuff, so I don't know, and this one. But I think one goes to, wait, no, the SSD has this one, which also this has a flip latch. I don't know if you can see that. So make sure that locks into place. I didn't see a keyboard and whatever cable. So I don't know if this model, does it go through from the other side? Oh yeah, this keyboard comes out from the top, I think. I'm not going to mess with it because, again, only the fan was bad and I don't want to cause some damage to this messing around with it. There's this little intrusion switch here, so if you open the bottom cover, they'll know that you open the bottom cover. Oh, also, there's a DC jack or charge port connector here that has a wire and plugs into here. If you need to remove that, you do need to undo the hinge screws. Usually the way I remove the hinge so that I can get to this charge port is I open the laptop slightly, undo the screws, and then slowly close the laptop, and the hinge should stay slightly up. Then you can grab underneath and twist it all the way. Alright, LCD LVDS connector looks to be here, same kind of latch mechanism as the SSD. Then there's another connector here that goes into the screen, most likely for the webcam and other stuff. Alright, microphone. Okay, then you got all these wireless antennas going up into the screen, and I think that's pretty much it. Oh, I didn't mention the speakers connected right here, and both speakers connect through this one speaker, and then there's a wire going from that speaker to the other one over here. And I think that's about it. Let's go ahead and see if this thing powers up. So I'm gonna put the battery in, but I'm gonna hold this case intrusion switch down. So we'll pull that battery in while I'm holding this. And let's see, can I keep holding this while I open it? This maybe was a bad idea because this is tough. Alright, anyways, it looks like that worked. Let's go ahead and power it up and see if it gives the same fan error or if it's just going to go straight into booting. The fan did spin a little bit and then it stopped, and here you can see it's booting now. So we should be good. I don't know what the fan sounded like though because it's not spinning. So anyways, I don't think they want me to show their username, so let me shut this down first before I continue. And yeah, I'll see you guys in a bit. Oh, they have that press control delete thing. So let me shut this down completely and I'll be back. Oh, I can actually hear the fan now. You hear that? So the fan is rubbing on something. It's kind of weird. Okay, this fan needs to be greased. You just heard that buzzing? Okay, so I definitely need to fix this fan. So I'm gonna now shut this thing down. Give me a second. Okay, sorry, I just didn't want to show the username. Some customers are kind of paranoid or worried, I don't know, that something's going to happen if people see their username. So anyways, we'll let this shut down. Then we're going to disconnect both batteries. And then we're going to have to redo the thermal paste and see if we can redo the grease on this fan. Alright, so it turned off. You can see the fan stopped. And I'm going to redo the grease because I don't want it to have that buzzing issue. Okay, so we got that battery out. Now we're going to go ahead and remove this one. Looks like there's only 2 screws. Yeah, I think there's only 2 screws. So we'll remove that screw, and then there's 1 screw here. We'll find out if there's more real soon because I'm going to try and lift the battery out to disconnect it. Alright, so we got those 2 screws. I'm going to start over here and lift up. And it feels like it's getting caught here, but okay, it has a little foot here that slides under, so you do have to slide it out this way to get that little foot out. Then we can go ahead and raise this. I'm going to rotate it this way, and let me see if I can zoom in for you guys. Okay, so basically I grab the connector as close as I can here. Okay, sorry, I know my hand's in the way, but basically you wiggle it side to side as you pull, and mainly doing the wiggling, don't try and pull it too hard and it comes out on its own. There you go. Alright, so here you can see the touchpad. Oops, sorry, let me zoom out. You can see the touchpad or trackpad connector going around and in here. So I'm not sure what that smaller one is and what this bigger one is, but yeah. Okay, anyways, we're going to remove the heatsink. We're going to have to redo the thermal paste on this guy. Alright, so there's 4 screws. Okay. Usually these kinds of screws, oh, I guess they hold. Okay, usually these screws hold themselves in, but a lot of times I'll see this design and they come out, but it looks like they did put the washers. So, that's a good thing. We don't have to worry about the screws going away. We are going to have to clean up the thermal paste. So after we removed all 4 screws, we're going to pop this thing up. If you can't just pull this up, you might have to like twist it a little bit like this, okay? And then you can hopefully pop this up. You do want to go slow and then the paste will slowly release. Oops, we have to disconnect the fan connector as well. So the way I remove these is I kind of push the connector side to side, so it has these wings. Don't just like pull it. I found out that pushing it side to side like this works better. It walks the connector out of the, out of that connector. Alright, we'll lift this up. And here you can see the fan. Here you can see the old paste. We are going to have to clean that off on both. And then we're going to have to apply some new paste. But let's set this aside. We're going to get this fan open and see if we can fix it. Also, there's little thermal pads here, so be careful not to lose those, or those little pieces can get damaged. All right, so as you can see, this is the bottom of the fan. All right, and like I said, we're gonna need a JIS 0 screwdriver. Okay, so it looks like there's only 2 screws here actually. So remove that one, and we'll remove this one. And then I guess the other part has clips. Let's see. Okay, so we got those 2 screws out, and it looks like there's 1 clip here, and we do have to unroute this cable here so we don't get it caught on anything. So let's go ahead and somehow, you gotta rotate this and kind of push it to get it out from that thing here. Then we can unroute that, and there we go. Okay, so now that we got that, let's see, we're gonna have to pry this little piece up here. Oh, it looks like there's actually, where is that? There's a little thermal sensor wire. You can see that wire going across. That's from the fan going out to the heatsink. So, we're gonna have to somehow peel that guy off as well. But that's gonna be a little tricky. So, yeah, I rarely see that kind of setup. That's really strange. I don't know how I'm gonna get that out safely. Let's see if we can, if we're lucky, we might be able to rotate it out without taking that, but it doesn't look like it. I think we might have to actually do that. Also, there's tape holding this part on, so we're gonna have to peel that. Okay, because it's holding the 2 layers together. All right, and let's see, can we somehow separate this? Did they tape the whole fan on and everything? How is this fan being held onto this thing? Okay, no, the fan can separate here. Okay, it looks like they did run this adhesive across, so we do have to peel that tape off. Okay, so we're gonna peel that up, and that foam is likely going to tear, and yeah. All right, this is really tough to grab, especially since I cut my nails a bit shorter now. All right, let's go ahead and peel this up. Okay, and we'll peel that. All right, so get most of it out, and let's see here. Now we should be able to at least, there you go, you can see how it separates. It's still attached on something here. I'm not sure what, because we took the screws and the tape out. So is it this little bit of tape holding it? Really? Nope, it's still stuck on something somehow. So I don't know if I don't think, there's not a clip on this one. So why doesn't it want to come out? I have no clue. Okay, so this one is coming out. We are going to have to somehow get this piece off, sadly, because it doesn't want to budge. So I'm going to use this little pick tool and try and scrape up the foam pad here. Yep, it is being difficult. Let's scrape up the foam padding. Oops, sorry, I'm going out of view. So, how do we get this wire out? I'm worried something here is gonna break. So I'm just kind of scraping out this foamy stuff. But I think the foam might have the thermal sensor. There's like a little, oh, I don't know, I keep going out of camera, but there's a little wire in there. Like, it just looks like an exposed wire. Okay, I guess we're gonna have to just cut this stuff and then hope that it's still okay after. How do I get this foam cleanly off? Am I gonna have to use some isopropyl alcohol or something? It doesn't seem to want to come out. Alright, I'm gonna try dripping a little isopropyl alcohol on it and see if that will help me get it out. Okay. Alright, let's see what we got here. Can we somehow scrape up all this foamy stuff? Doesn't want to come out. So I'm not too sure what to do here. Let's peel this tape back off. It keeps re-gripping. And I don't know why the fan doesn't want to separate here. So this whole fan should separate from this copper piece, but something is holding it on. We took all the screws out. Is that, oh, wait, is that a clip? No. The fan should end somewhere down here. All right, well, let's undo this clip here. I'm gonna just pull that out with my fingernail, hopefully. Okay, yep, all right, there you go. We slightly bent that clip up, and there's another one on this side, so we're gonna have to do the same thing. Oh. That thermal sensor is getting in the way, man. Okay. All right, lift that up slightly as well. And now let's see. Okay, you can see now this fan is popping out, and we can kind of rotate it, but I think we have to be careful because the thing is attached. Actually, is it attached just to the fan? Oh no, it's attached down here as well. Yeah, it's attached under that. So we're gonna carefully just rotate this and make sure that wire doesn't get ripped out, and we're gonna have to carefully pluck out all this dust here. Okay, so you can use like some kind of tweezers and just get that, and then it helps now that you have this open to use like a toothbrush to get the rest of it. Oops. Okay, so you can use a toothbrush and you can brush that dust away, brush this dust away. Oh, super dusty. Okay, so now we got that. I'm gonna brush that dust away. I'm gonna use this little air blower and just blow in there to try and get all that dust out. Okay, next thing we gotta do is try and pop these propellers off. So usually the best way I found to do this now is to push from the center ring if you can, and you do want to press evenly. So let's actually zoom out here, and oops, I think I got some thermal paste on my, yeah, how'd I get on my thumb? We're gonna clean that, and let's actually clean this off so while we're working on it, we're not gonna end up getting thermal paste everywhere. Okay. So carefully clean this. You don't want to bend the pipe, thermal pipe, so don't push down too hard on it. Okay. Just like that. Very easy to clean. We're gonna use some isopropyl rubbing alcohol as well later. We also need to clean off the one on the motherboard, and to do that I am going to have to flip the laptop upside down over my trash can, so any like little bits, actually this one seems pretty liquidy, but if it wasn't liquidy I would usually have to tip it upside down over my trash can. Okay, so that way any of these dried chunks will just fall into there, but as you can see it's not too dry, it's still a bit pasty. Okay. Get that. Okay, there's a little bit of flakiness to it. Hopefully it doesn't end up going in the motherboard. All right, seems like we're good here. And we'll figure out the other part later. We're gonna have to clean it with some isopropyl alcohol and then put some new thermal paste. Okay, anyways, again, we are able to now lift the fan out this way, but there's the wire. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go like on left and right, and then again you want to push at the middle ring here of the fan. So I'm going to use the tips of my thumbnails to do that, and we're just going to push it straight down, and there we go. It popped out. So here is the old fan, and we're gonna get some grease in there. I'm gonna clean the propellers a little bit with a toothbrush off to the trash can next to me. Okay, so that we can get a bit cleaner of a fan. All right, sorry, I know I'm doing this off camera, but I don't want all the dust flying everywhere, so here's what you do. Basically, you'll hold it like that, and then you put some pressure so it doesn't freely spin, and just brush it like that. Then brush it the other direction. Same thing with the bottom and top. All right, so that's good. That's all clean. Next, we need to add some grease into here. This is a little bit tricky because that wire's in the way and doesn't let me open it completely. Dumb design in my opinion. All right. Also, we're gonna want to bend these little metal tabs down again. All right, to about 90 degrees. You can bend it a little bit further, so that way when we put the other part of the fan back, we can use that to clip back into place. Okay, so let me get some grease here, and then we're gonna do that. I'm gonna put this bottle so it can lean on something. All right, so if you're wondering, I just used some regular motor oil, 5W30. Actually, it's synthetic motor oil, not that it really matters that much, but any lubricating grease should work. Don't use WD-40. People keep using WD-40. Don't use WD-40. It's not a grease. All right. WD-40 is meant to remove water from components. It's a water displacement thing. All right. So anyways, I'm going to just tip this thing over, get some on this bent out paper clip, and then we're going to drip it into the little hole there. Okay, and this one wasn't too bad, so that's most likely going to be enough to fix it. So what we're going to do now, what we're going to do now is we're going to get the, oops, too much stuff here. All right, we're going to get the propellers and put them back on. Okay, so here's the propellers, and you just line it up. Drop it into place. Oh, why isn't it dropping into place? Go. This is so much harder when I can't see what I'm doing and I have to leave it tilted on that thing. Come on, why isn't it going in? Okay, let me see if I can turn it sideways and look at it. I guess we can line up a circle on this. Oh, there we go. Okay, I guess I just had to push it in because it wasn't working right. So here you can see when the fan spins, you can see how smooth it spins. And the way you know the grease is good is after it stops moving, it wiggles back and forth the other direction. So you can see at the end, it jiggles, it goes backwards. That's how you know the grease is good, because it has enough free motion that it can turn backwards if it needs to. I might clean this up and then do it a little more because it keeps getting caught a little. So let's go ahead and push this out again. Again, you want to push evenly. Don't push on just one side or you'll end up breaking this piece off. Okay, so we're going to clean this guy off, and that's relatively clean. But let's go ahead and put a little more grease just to be safe. Okay, better safe than sorry, so we don't have to do this all over again. Okay, get some grease on that paper clip. Alright, and we're going to open it, turn it over, oops, turn it over, and drip that into the hole. And I actually put way too much, so I'm going to use the paper towel to clean the, or to absorb the excess out. Okay, you can see it's like that. And I'm just going to use a paper towel to kind of clean the excess out. Good. All right, let's get the fan propellers back in. Okay. And then we'll clip it all the way down into place. All right, flip this back over and let's test it again. It's about the same, so that's probably as good as it's gonna get. Let's go ahead and put this stuff back together. All right, and we are gonna have to use some new thermal paste. All right. Okay, thermal paste is very important. If you don't put that back, your computer's gonna overheat, so make sure. All right, then we got these clips that we need to get back in, so re-engage those clips. Make sure it goes under the thermal sensor wires. Okay, it keeps trying to go on top. So let's make sure it goes on top. There we go. And this one, make sure it goes on top. There we go. Okay, so now we got all of that locked in. Okay, make sure this all locks in. And you can tell, oops, sorry. You can tell because you want this copper piece flush with the plastic out here, that rim. All right, so we got that all lined up. We're gonna also get this taped back down. If it will tape back down, I don't know if it will, but let's try. Okay, so this follows, oops, these lines here. Alright, and this last one is kind of messy, but wrap that around. Okay, and we got the fan reassembled. Let's go ahead and get the 2 screws in and then put the rest of the laptop together, and we should be good. It shouldn't make that buzzy vibrating sound anymore. Alright, and the last screw here. Alright, and we should be good. Let's go ahead now, get the motherboard and put thermal paste. Sorry, I know the zooming is kind of focusing on the wrong spots because it's hard to pay attention to what I'm recording. But anyways, let's go ahead and get the thermal paste on here. You don't need very much. Alright, oh actually, sorry, let's clean this up with a little isopropyl rubbing alcohol first. Almost forgot to clean it better. Alright, so I just get a piece of paper towel, fold it up like that, pour some on there so it's wet, and then just wipe this to clean it. Then use the dry side, obviously, to dry it. Alright, you got the fan as well, so make sure to clean that one. Okay, again, make sure you don't bend this pipe. I'm keeping my fingers under the area that I'm wiping so that it can keep the pressure from bending it. Alright, so here you can see how gross that was. Alright, let's go ahead now and put in the thermal paste and then reassemble this thing. So we're going to zoom in. Okay, there's a bunch of lint on it. There we go. Alright. And oops, I knocked one of the screws over. Okay, so we're going to get the thermal paste. This one's a square, so we're just going to need a dot in the center. And that's already more than enough because this thing is so tiny and the dot will spread super thin. Alright, then you have this really thin one, and that we're going to just make a line. And that's also way too much because this line is so small. Okay. Actually, some of this should go into the circle one. Okay, and just even this out. Just like that. Alright, make this one into a ball in the center. Maybe I should put a little more to be safe. You don't want to have a crazy amount because you don't want it flooding all around the edges. You mainly want it to remain on these silver spots. Okay. Alright, so there we go. When we go to put the heatsink back on, there is a certain order that you screw it down. They actually number it on the thing for you. Let's zoom out so you can see the whole thing. Alright, so we're going to get the fan lined up. Slowly drop this, make sure the screws line up right so it's a little too far to the right. And there we go. Alright, so we're going to go based on the numbers. So this is 1. We're going to go twist backwards. Here, click 1, 2, 3. Alright, number 2. Click 1, 2, 3. Number 3. Click 1, 2, 3. Number 4. Click 1, 2, 3. Alright, then we're going to go back 1, 2, 3. Oh, sorry, I need to switch back to the JS1 screwdriver. And it looks like it's already tightened. Alright, so this one, 1, 2, 3. Oh, yep, it's already tightened. And then this one. Okay, tightened, and the last one here. And this material is actually basically spring-loaded, so it will be constantly pressing down on the CPU to get the stuff to go as flat and thin as possible. If you're wondering, some models do have a dedicated GPU. You can see where it would go, but this one doesn't have one. Alright, we're going to plug this connector back in. Make sure you plug it in right. You want the exposed metal pins facing up, and they actually drew a dot on this, but if you get a new fan, it might not have that dot, so keep that in mind. Alright, we're going to now pinch that back together. Good. That fan spins really nicely now. Okay, and then let's go ahead and put this back. So we have the battery here. Let's zoom out. Okay, and again, this battery has this little thing that you gotta tuck in there first, and then we can lower this down. Alright, so to get this battery in, because there's not much room, what I do is I get my finger under here and then push down, and that bows it upwards to give you a little more slack. Or actually, sorry, the battery goes in sideways here, huh? So you don't need the excess slack. But anyways, line that up, and I'm going to get these screws in. Okay. This one, I didn't quite plug in the battery yet. It's actually just sitting on the side. And then this screw. Alright, now that we got all those screws in, we're going to pinch this or pull that into place. Okay, make sure it's in completely. You can actually see this raised piece here that helps you line it up right. Okay, so there we go. All that's left to do, I think, is put the bottom cover back on and the battery, and we'll power it up. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, get this all lined up nicely and start clicking stuff together. The front's not going to latch in all the way because of the broken, puffed up battery. Make sure to push that. Okay. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and get this back together, and we should be good to go. Okay. And the customer just told me to fix the fan issue. I told them that the battery looks bad from looking at the outside. But it's up to them if they want to fix it. So anyways, let's get all these screws tightened in and the battery and powered up, and that's pretty much it. Again, hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it saved you a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. If you can't help out that way, you can help out by watching a few of my other videos, excuse me, and then liking and commenting on them, because that's what the algorithm likes to see. Alright, anyways, let's go ahead and power this up, and I see the Lenovo, so I think we are good to go. Oh, why is it doing this boot manager? We're just going to go straight to Windows. I don't know if I pressed something on accident, the one key recovery button, I don't know. That was kind of weird. I don't know why it went straight to that. I didn't push anything. Alright, and it looks like it's good, so that's pretty much it. We can let the fan spin more, but yeah, anyways, hopefully it helped. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Alright, let's drop this. Bye.